But I'll tell you, I would constantly tell Luis, because George the Goat did a pretty damn good job, and so I would have to mention to Luis, dude, you're getting outshined, man. Turn it up. Turn it up. You know what I mean?
Hey, what happened?
They're just overreacting. Just bought me $500.
Well, I've got a fun fact that I want to tell you both about. I really enjoyed. Watch this movie with my mom, and I was born in El Paso, Texas.
Oh, yes. That's awesome. That is awesome.
So when you guys pay homage to my birth city, I'm in Houston now, still in Texas, of course. But when you don't hear El Paso in very many movies unless they were old Westerns with John Wayne. So right. I was like, El Paso, how cool is that? Was it your intention to make us laugh and cry at the same time during this movie?
That was the goal. That was really the goal, was to do this kind of grounded buddy comedy, but at the same time have immigrants in cages in ICE and have this really kind of emotional ending. I love movies that have two tones and then you can kind of go back and forth. And so I was really excited about it. That's one of the main reasons why I made the movie, was to do a movie that you're laughing like crazy, and then you're just suddenly crying, and it sneaks up on you and it hits you as emotionally as I could. So yeah, that was the goal for sure.
Luis, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How did you not crack up laughing the entire time while you were filming this movie?
You know what? It was easier than you think. When I was developing this film, I was like, this is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna have a great time on set. But when I was on set, I discovered myself being angry most of the time, because the character's journey is being really pissed with this guy. He's going through a lot of suffering because what happened to him when he was a kid and his daddy issues, blah, 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 but also being confronted to this guy who is his half brother and who has everything he hates, so being in that track on set. So suddenly I remember I talked to Luke, the director one day, and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry if I'm super angry all time on set, or if I'm grumpy, forgive me, but I think it's just this character who's having the worst time of his life. And that happened for me a lot of times on set, but on the weekends, being with this guy in Albuquerque shooting was a lot of fun.
Connor, I have to ask about your co-star, and it's not Luis, it's Renalito, the goat.
My little Georgie, my goat George.
Yeah. So tell me what it's like to, you both did great with this co-star, the goat, and people are watching us right now going, what? You have to see the movie to know what we're talking about. Tell me what it was like to act with a goat.
Okay, so I'm gonna be up front. I didn't have my dog with me shooting this movie in Albuquerque, and I was like, you know what? I'll replace that love and affection with this goat I'm gonna be working with. But goats are very different from dogs. It was a frustrating first week developing that relationship. Every day I'd walk him on the leash and he would just ram me as a power move. He would just ram my legs. That's what goats do. And then eventually we started developing this love, and goats have very soulful eyes. And so you just look him in the eye and you send him that love, and he returned it eventually and stopped ramming me.
No spoilers in this interview, but it does touch on the immigration issue. And I, for one, like you just said, was happy to see that in the film, because it was very honest. It wasn't, telling you what you want people to believe, but it was there, and it was a very raw and honest approach to that. Yeah. So if you can expand on that mind process to include that.
Yeah, and thank you. That's a huge compliment. That was the goal. We really wanted to be honest about the immigration. We were never a political movie. We never wanted to be. We never wanted to be preachy. But what we wanted to do at the same time as this kind of crazy buddy comedy between these two half brothers, the other story is this very honest, sometimes gritty, sometimes very sad story of this man who, came to America to make sure his family survived and what he had to go through. And what's interesting is, his son, who's so angry at him, what the movie's about is to experience what his father experienced, and to be in ice, and to be in these situations and these horrible conditions. And so, again, it's an interesting tone of a movie to do a buddy comedy with a freaking goat in the backseat of your car, and at the same time, be doing these very kind of graphic, somewhat brutal, honest scenes of Mexican immigration. Yeah.
At the heart, obviously, there's a lot of fun and the antics that you all have on the road trip. But at the heart of this, it's a story about family. And what made that special for you to be a part of this film?
Well, everything, like I have a really complex, beautiful relationship with my brother. I found out I had a half sister like 2 years before starting shooting this film, and I have another half brother right now. So it was definitely a theme I want to talk about, but especially I think, yeah, of course, the film is about family, about relationships, but I think the film is about empathy, and I think that's like the biggest theme right now in the world with everything that's happening. So that was for me the most interesting subject to speak about with half brothers.
Connor, same question for you. Being that there is the heart of this story is family and relationships, how did that make that special for you?
It was really special. If I can get personal, when I first read the script, there's it's about a tough relationship between both Renato and Asher and their father. It's not an easy relationship for either. And I've had a tough relationship with my own father my whole life. And that's what really attracted me to the script. And I know millions of people around the world can relate to that, to whether their father abandoned them or passed away at a young age or passed away when they were a little older. Not every relationship is perfect, but I think our movie speaks to forgiveness and empathy, like Luis talks about, and how important that and powerful that can be with family.
And I have to get this in, as voting member of the Critics' Choice Awards, I'm going to nominate for Best Actor, Renalito the Goat. How do you, no, but maybe, tell me what it's like to direct a goat.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy. I got to be honest with you. But his name was George. And he really, look, he was in situations I'm sure he didn't want to be in, as far as sitting in the backseat of a car, but he loved it. I mean, the animal trainers were wonderful. And it's tricky to direct a goat. I got to be honest with you. But I'll tell you, I would constantly tell Luis, because, George the goat did a pretty damn good job. And so I would have to mention to Luis, dude, you're getting outshined, man. Turn it up. Turn it up. You know what I mean?
And that's why I said what I said. Luke, great job, man. I really enjoyed this film. And
thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to us. You're
awesome. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.
You got it, man.
Thank you. Bye-bye.